Hey all, it's me Hack, and in this video we will learn about how we can find misconfiguration in GCP to move laterally, and we will also learn about other GCP related attacks. The end goal of this video is to teach you basic GCP hacking. Don't expect any crazy attacks in this video. We will learn about some basic attacks. So yeah, like let's get started, shall we? But before we get into any technical stuff, who am I? So I'm Ayush. I go by the name Hack on the internet. Currently in final year of high school. I'm not an security expert, but have done some pen test gigs. It's not like I'm completely inexperienced, and I also make cloud security labs for a company. For certs, I have done EJPT, Hack the Box CBPH, and CompTI Pentest Plus. I have also went for Hack the Box CPTS prerequisite. So some basic for this video, uh, some basic Linux knowledge will be good. Some basic understanding of cloud, and if you know some basic GCP concepts, that will be great. Or if you have some experience with other CSP like AWS or Azure, that will also help. This is not a strict requirement, but an account at boonlabs.com will greatly help, as we will use some labs which I have made for them in this video. So yeah, like let's get started, right? Um so over here, like I remember a quote from my mentor. He used to say, like, whenever you are doing any sort of a hacking, you need to know how that particular application works or how you can go and set it up, right? So before we do any hacking, we will learn about some basic GCP concepts over here. We will learn about IAM roles and permission. We will learn about compute engines, serverless and cloud run, and more. So yeah, like let's start with GCP IAM Basic. So if you're just starting out in cloud, or if you have worked a little bit, like a month or maybe a week, you would have heard almost everyone saying I am everyone, right? So you may be wondering, like, what IAM is. So IAM stands for Identity Access Management. I know I just gave you a full form of it, but basically, like, IAM is a fancy way of calling or managing different roles and permission of a user, or of a specific user or a specific service account in cloud environment, whether it be GCP, Azure, AWS. Like the whole concept of the whole concept of IAM remains the same on all CSP, like cloud service provider. Also in security, you will often hear things like least privileges, so which basically means that user or service account has has or need only necessary permission to perform a particular task. Like for example, this is not a direct example related to cloud, but suppose you are working for a company and it has like three different branches, right? One branch is HR, the other one is, let's say, IT department, and the other one could be like CEO. So you don't want HR to have any access over the IT department. You don't want CEO or any other user to have access on a particular permission or a role which they don't need to perform their day-to-day task. So it's something, so the same concept applies over here too. I know it was a bad example, but please bear with me. The whole like IAM concept is not crazy difficult. It's very basic. Understand it as something which allows you to add or remove roles, right? It's something like that. Uh, so we will now go to the demo part. Over here, we will learn about setting up different IAM roles and stuff. So here, alrighty everyone, so this is a practical part of IAM. So over here, like what we will do is, like, we will go and create some IAM policies, like through the web console, and then we will also use gcloud CLI to do it. It's not directly related to hacking, but it's some like these are like some basic things I would say one should know. So over here, go to IAM and admin section, and then go to service account, and then we will create a service account. Let's say YT demo 1. We can create a service account over here. It will take a minute, and from here on, like, we can give like different roles which we want. uh what We will give cloud bucket like user role we can give, or cloud bucket or storage bucket something. Let's see. Or what I can do is like leave this part for now and continue. So we created our very first service account, right? We will create one more service account over here, which will be demo 2, and we will click on done. We have created like two different service accounts. Now what we will do is like we have to create a custom role. So what we want is like we want a service account 1 to have, let's say, storage object list, and storage object uh, could be like some permission. Let's see. But yeah, I want to show like how we can create custom account, service account, and add a basic IAM policy, right? So we'll click on roles, and it's loading. Alrighty. So it has loaded up. Over here we can change the title. Let's say demo 1, and custom role ID D1. We do this? Okay. Let's say demo 1. Then what we will do is like cloud storage. Storage. Is there any policy related to storage? Nope. Okay, no worries. We'll click over here. Let's see, cloud storage. The heck? Storage. Okay, so we have like some permissions. So I would give this like demo 1 user a bucket reader role, right? We will click OK, and from over here like we can select what permission we want to give our user, right? So this is the role, like already made role from GCP, and over here like these are like permissions which we can add. So over here like I just want to give this user like demo 1 storage object list permission, and here continue, and I will click on create, and the role will be created over here. Demo 1 has been created. We will create another custom role which will be demo 2, and over here we will do something similar. Demo 2, click add, and over here like what we can do is like, let's say storage, or rather than like storage we can do like compute. We can give like something like compute image user. Click OK, and from here like we can select what role we want to give, right? So I will give like compute image list, and click on add. So only like this particular role will be added over here, and we have the title ID demo, and we can click create, and this will also be created over here. So we have created like two different custom roles. Now our goal is to give demo our goal is to like, let me go back to service accounts. Over here like our goal is to give demo 1 custom role to this particular service account, and then we will give demo 2 custom role, which is demo 2 custom role. So there are like different ways you can give. So there's like one which you can give is, what you can do is like you can give service account, go over here, click on permission, and click on grant access like this, and then you can go scroll up. There should be one. Nope, I can't find here. Okay, no worries. Let me click on cancel. I will go to like IAM, but yeah, like that's also a way to that's like from here, like from service account, click over here permission. That's also a way to assign permission to a specific user. Over here, like we'll come back to IAM. We'll add principal to be demo1. Now we will click on role. We'll go to custom. We'll give demo role and click on save. Again, like by the way, like suppose like you're creating a role, right? You should give like proper names. So like over here, it's like storage object list. So rather than giving like demo1, you could have given something like storage object list or something like that, right? But for my case, I have given demo1 just for the demonstration purposes. So we have added or given this particular service account demo1 custom role. Now we will go back to service account and we will give demo2 a custom role, which is demo. This particular service account we will give a custom role which is called demo2. I know it's confusing, and you should have given a different name, right? So demo2 has permission to list compute images, right? So you could have given like compute image list or compute image user or something, whichever like suits the perfect name for the permissions you have attached to that particular custom role. I hope like it was not that confusing. Now what we will do is we will come back to our terminal. So let me just start my terminal just a minute. Meanwhile, like you can again, like these are like some things like you will learn the more like you play around with different IAM roles, right? um okay, so I will now jump back to my terminal window, and the main aim for this one is to show you like how you can do something similar but with G-Cloud CLI, right? So, but before that, what you have to do is like you have to run something like G-Cloud auth login to log in into G-Cloud CLI, to log in into Google Cloud. I will clear it. Now what we have to do is like we have to we will do something similar what we did at the web app, which will be like we'll create a custom service account and then we will attach a policy, right? So we can create a service account something like this: zcloud IAM service accounts create, and we will give a name which could be demo 1 from CLI, something like this. We can attach a description. I hope like I spelled that correctly. Description will be let's say this is this demo1 service account has been created from CLI, something like this. We can give a display name, so display name. So this will be basically like a title, right? So display name could be let's say demo 1 account from CLI. I hope like I have spelled everything correctly. Okay, so demo 1 CLI. Okay, so we have to change the name to match with the format of GCP, which will be I have to remove this and add it this way. Alrighty. Okay, so the service account has been created, and how we can verify, right? So we can go back to either our web app or we can run a command. So for that, what we can do is like we can do gcloud IAM service accounts list, I believe, and over here we can see the service account has been created, right? Which is demo 1 account from CLI, demo 1 from CLI, right? We can, what we will do is we will attach a custom service role or I should say like we will attach an IAM policy to it. So how we can do it? So for that we need to run another command, which is gcloud. I believe IAM. Let's see. Roles. Let's try to list a role. Uh, our one was demo one. So what I can do is grep it on demo one. Hopefully, it should be here. Basically, like sometimes like the name or the role ID is different, and that might mess up with your IAM policy. So I'm just looking for the perfect name, or I can go back to like web app and check the name of the demo one custom role. Alrighty. So yeah, let me come back to my terminal. So it's taking out time. So like I went back to my like web app or the G Cloud, like yeah, the web app I would say, and I've copied this part, which is project YT video, which is the project ID of my GCP cloud environment, then roles and the name, which is demo one. I will control C. And now what we can do is we can run another command, which is gcloud projects add if I can type it properly, add IAM policy binding, binding, and then over here we have to copy the email, right? And I will just go back, like since I like messed up with my terminal, I'll go back and I will just copy the service account, which is demo 1 CLI. Okay, so I will just copy this up, put it up here. Now what I can do is like just a sec, I made a mistake. So it should be something like this, project ID, which is YT video, video. Again, like this part will be different for you, so you have to add your own like Google or GCP project ID. Now what we can do is like members, members, member, I think it's member. Now over here we will do something like this, service account, and then we will put this particular service account email, and then we will attach a role, which will be this. I will copy and paste it up here, and hopefully the command should work, and we should have an IAM policy attached. Yeah, seems like it worked. Yep, it worked. So over here, like you might be wondering like why I have added service account. So over here, like if you're adding a service account or service account email, you have to add service account up here. But let's say like if you want to add the actual user, you will add user rather than service account tag over here and the user email, right? And if you don't know like what's difference between user and service account, I will highly recommend to go and work on the basic first. Anyways, now what we can do is like I will clear my terminal and I will do something like this, gcloud IAM, and I will hit enter. Now let's try to list IAM policies, right? So how we can do this? So IAM policies, just a minute. What the heck? Gcloud get, I think this is the word, get IAM policy, or should be this way, gcloud projects get IAM policy. I have to add the project number, which will be YT video 6969, I think so. Okay, so we were able to list IAM policies attached to this particular project. Yep. Okay, so we can run this particular command, which is gcloud project get IAM policy to get IAM policy attached to this particular or IAM policy, like entire IAM policy of this specific project. However, I only have like two different or three different service account and a user, so it looks quite smaller. But as we like move on like further into the lab part, we will see project which has like tens and maybe sometimes you will see hundreds of like service accounts. So we also have to figure out a way to visualize like service accounts. However, this was the practical demonstration of IAM policy. Hope you liked it. Okay, I hope you guys have enjoyed the demo part. um Now let's talk about compute engines. So what are they, right? So this time, so if you have any previous work experience with CSP like AWS, you would have heard EC2 instance, right? It's somewhat similar to that. I should say like almost similar. Also like it's completely fine if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. So basically like compute engine or EC2 lets you run a virtual machine on cloud. It could be either Ubuntu VM, Debian VM, or any other Linux distro you can think of. Some key points of like compute engine is that it has some really tight integration with other GCP services like Kubernetes or like BigQuery storage, cloud storage, and much more. And the best part of like GCP or compute engine which I like is it's very simple to use. You can attach a specific service account of your choice. uh, you can give a specific role or permission to that particular compute engine, which can be later used to integrate with other GCP services like cloud storage and much more. I hope like this high level overview of compute engine was good. We will not dive into the more practical part. This is demo time, and over here we will learn about compute engine. So let's get started. Alrighty, everyone. So this is the practical or the demo part of compute engine. So I have already told you like what computer engine is in the slide, and now we will try to create a compute engine. We will set like different service account. We will also make a backup image like the snapshot, compute images, stuff like that, basic things. So yeah, like let's get started. So by the way, over here you have to click on compute engine, and you might get a pop-up saying you have to enable compute engine API, right? So you have to go and enable that first. Once you have enabled your compute engine API, click on create instance, and over here like you can give name of your choice. So let's say demo compute in, or could be like anything, right? Let's say demo from for my case, right? You can go and select the region according to your choice. It could be US Central 1, or you could choose like any other region which is closer to you, but I will go with US Central 1 for now. You can go and choose the zone according to you, whichever one you like. And then over here like we have how much resources you want to give. So since it's a demo, I would go with like E2 micro for now. And over here we can choose like uh we can use like a spot or standard. I mean those two are like two different things, but however like what I know like spot is like a bit cheaper, but the availability like depends, right? um we can go like choose container, but for now we will leave it. And then over here like we can even change the boot disk, right? So over here what we will do is like we have a Debian image, right? Operating system is Debian, but we can choose whichever one we want, right? We can even use a custom image of our choice. We can click select, right? And then this part, like this is the most important part, and this might be the place where a lot a lot of people, or a lot, or maybe like many engineers might make mistake, which is service account part, right? So by default, like Google attaches like default service account, right, which is this, and this account has like I would say like almost access to like almost every other thing, right, which is bad, right, which is terrible. So what you can do is like whenever you create the compute engine, right, either you can go with this option, which is no service account, or like if you have some functionality which requires like authentication to like GCP, what you can do is like you can attach a custom service account with um, only like necessary permission. But for our case, we will go with no service account. Then for firewall, like you can allow like which port you want to allow someone to access. So for our case will be HTTP and HTTPS. um we won't make a lot of changes. Then over here, like we have like advanced option. Over here we can go and change the networking part, right? We have like network interface which we want to use. We can go and create our own like custom VPC, different subnets, whichever we want to do, right? We have like disk option, security, then we have like management option, and this is like automation part, right? So like whenever like you create a VM, or whenever this VM starts up, like specific command will be ran, right? So what we can do is like we can do something like sudo apt update, something like this, apt update. And let's say you want to install sudo apt install Apache 2. Like whenever this like compute engine gets created, you want to do these two things at first, right? And then we have like Soul tendency or Tennessee. We won't go with that way, right? And then we have another option, which is we can create a VM template, right? So basically, it's like over here, like you can say different options according to your choice, right? But however, we will go and create a simple VM for now. Okay, so I will come back to my GCP. I will change this to EC2 micro, and we'll change to like no service account, allow HTTP and HTTPS. And I have to go and do the same thing, which is sudo apt update and sudo apt install Apache 2, right? Click on create. We can create the compute engine. It will take a minute or maybe two. um we probably have to wait. Okay, so it's taking some time. Usually like it's like a minute or two. But meanwhile, like we can explore like other options, right? So over here, like we have images options, which is like you can create images of your particular VM and store it. You can do something similar with snapshots, right? Over here you can do something similar with snapshot, like you can create a schedule. It's basically like a backup, right? So it will take the backup or the snapshot of your compute engine like every X time, right? um let's see, schedule one, we can do something like this. However, like we won't really create a snapshot, but that's a way how you can create one. But we will go back to VM instances, and seems like um the VM has been created. Now let's SSH in into the box. um just a minute, guys. Over here, now I have to share this screen, so we'll get this like pop up, right? Over here, like you can click on authorize, and here, So you will get a terminal window like this. You can do ls. We have installed like Apache, right? So let's do something like this: sudo system ctl status Apache 2. Looks like that has not been installed. That's crazy. We might have made some mistake with the automation script. We can do something like this: sudo apt install Apache 2. Yeah, like Apache 2 was not installed. That's crazy. It's taking a while. Okay, so Apache 2 has been installed and it should have also started a server, right? So www html. Yep. Now what we will do is we will go back to our web browser. Let me go back to the web browser. Okay, so we have like came back to GCP or like this interface, and we can copy the IP address and we can access it, something like this. It's very simple. It's like creating an EC2 instance, right? We can see like Apache 2 has been installed and it's up and running. Now what we can do is like we can stop this instance, right? Stop it. Then now what you can do is like you can create a custom image, or you can create the image of this particular VM. But before that, I just want to show you some other things. For example, we can create a VPC and attach it to our like compute images, or I should say like to our compute instance like this. Create a VPC network. Let's give a name which is demo. You can give a subnet which could be demo like this. You can attach a region which will be a region which will be US Central 1 for us for now. We can specify a IP address or a IP range which we want. However, like for this purpose, I will just show you this way. Like from here, like you can select the firewall or the firewall rule which you want to add, right? And you can click on create, and then we also have a equivalent command line option which you can use to go and create a custom VPC from the CLI, right? But for now I will just close it. um for now we will just close this part. Now we will go back to compute engine, and over here, um wait a minute, the VM should have been stopped, right? No, I think I stopped this particular VM, right? And it will be crazy like if I forgot to stop. Anyways, I will probably have to wait for a minute. Okay, so we will now go back to like images one or images section. Again, like these things are like something which you don't really need to know for the hacking part, but I'm just showing you so like you have some basic idea like how someone goes and sets up an account, right? So over here, like we can change the name to like demo or image one demo, uh demo demo image. We can choose the source to be disk, and this will be the one. Over here we can click on create, and the compute image will take it will take a minute or two to create a compute image, right? And then we can use the same image to go and create a different VM, right? And what you can also do, like on a side note, will be to go and do some like research about what's the use of like creating snapshot and images. What's the difference between snapshots and images in GCP? The other things which you can explore is like you can go and set up a custom firewall rule. You can create load balancer. But yeah, like for now, like this is it like for the practical part. Alrighty. Uh, we, over here we will talk about serverless. uh, it's a hot new topic. As the name suggests, it's a very hot new topic. Like serverless is everywhere, and as the name suggests, serverless, we don't need any servers to run our application. uh I guess it, okay, so it was a bad joke. Okay, so let's be serious now. So over here, and let's take serverless as a, it's more like a plug and play kind of a system where developers can write their code. Like the main focus of developer could be like writing good code, and leave everything on GCP, like for managing infrastructure configuration and every other thing. That's all on GCP. Some serverless services provided by GCP are like App Engine, Cloud Run, and Cloud Function. So Cloud Run will basically like let you run containerized applications. Cloud Function is somewhat similar to, like, I believe, AWS Lambda. If you don't know that, it's basically like Cloud Function will react or will get triggered to a specific event, right? uh, I hope like this high level overview of serverless was good. We will not dive into the whole like demo part or practical part. Also, a quick point before I get into demo part will be, um like, I'm over here like for a few slides I will just cover up some basic things. I won't go much deeper into the details, but you are like feel free to like go and learn more about App Engine, how you can set it up. However, like in the demo part I will show you how you can set up Cloud Run, but you are like free to like go and learn how you can set up App Engine, Cloud Function, and much more, right? um okay, so let's go into demo part. Alrighty, everyone, this is me, Hack, and this is the demo part of serverless, right? So over here, like again, like there are like so many things which fall under serverless, and GCP provides a lot of like um services for serverless. But what we will like explore like something called Cloud Run. If you don't know like Cloud Run, like Cloud Run, on Cloud Run you can basically like run uh Docker images, right? Or containerized images, stuff like that. But there's also something called App Engine. Uh, then there's something called Cloud Function, which is uh, something like AWS Lambda, right? Okay, so enough talking, right? We will go and create a very basic Cloud Run. Cloud. Let me do this something like this. Cloud Run. And I probably have to go and enable the API first. Let me click on it, and I think I have to enable the API. Okay, wow. We'll click on create services, right? um in our case, what we will do is like we will use the sample container provided from like Google itself. However, uh if you want to learn something extra, I would recommend you guys to like go and create a custom Docker image and then push it to like GCP artifact registry, right? And using that, create Cloud Run. Or if you want to do some more crazy things, what you can do is like you can set up a entire CI/CD pipeline, which will be like where you have the code of like GCP or the code of your application stored on an artifact registry or GitHub, and then you have a cloud build.yaml file where you can set up a automation where the container image will be created and it will be pushed to like artifact registry. uh then I would then what then the next step of your automation could be, once the image has been created and pushed to artifact registry, uh use that image to start Cloud Run, right? Again, those are like some very high level interesting things or crazy things, but for now like we will keep things simple. And I hope like I did not trigger or made this part boring by talking so much. right? But over here, like we are using the sample container from GCP. We'll go with the default name, which is service region, which is US Central 1. However, like you can choose the region which is closer to you. We will go with unauthenticated invocation. Anyone can access it. CPU is only allocated during request processing. Okay. We can set up like minimum number of instances. We can do like one. However, I will go with default things, right? Over here we have like containers. So like, if you're like going to create a custom uh, Docker image, you have to make sure that your application is running on the specific port, or if you are running your application on, let's say, port 80 or 443 or 5000, you can come and specify over here. However, like this default Docker image from GCP uses like port 8080, so I don't have to make any changes. Over here, like you can change the resources according to your need, but we won't do anything. Let's see. So we can go and change the maximum number of instances to be one, right? You can connect your cloud SQL connection. And if you don't know like what cloud SQL is, it's basically a database provided from GCP or Google itself. However, we don't have to be worried about them. Once that has been created, we can go to volume network, or here, like if we want to make any changes, we can make. Then we have another option which is security, and again this is one of the other part where some people might make mistake and use the default service account. Again, like in GCP, like from the security point of view, like remember, like anything default is bad because it has like editor role, and any service account with like editor role is bad. Like for just it's bad, right? You should never give unnecessary permission, right? So I will choose a different service account, let's say YT demo 1, and it has, I think it has some fairly low privileges or permissions, and this container or this specific cloud run should work. We can now click on create, and it will take a minute or two, and it should be created. Also, like if you're like enjoying this like video, like feel free to like hit that like button, and if you want to see like something more advanced things, like just feel free to like write it down in the comment. Like I'm also like thinking to like talk about Kubernetes, like GKE stuff like that, and maybe even go into like more deeper into like GCP security side. So yeah, like if you want to see anything related to that, feel free to comment it down below, or you can write me on Twitter. Like you can DM me on Twitter or wherever like you want. But yeah, like this part is taking some time, and it should take some time, like a minute or could be two, I don't know. But yeah, we have to probably wait. Oh wow, so it took like about 12 minutes to start, which is crazy. I've never seen a single cloud run to take this much time. However, it has been created, right? We can go and access it, right? It's like very simple. It's very simple, like thing which we did. But if you want to take up a challenge, go and create the Docker image, push it to artifact registry, and then use that custom Docker image to start Cloud Run, right? Or run it on Cloud Run. Or you can go much further and integrate it with like CI/CD pipeline. However, the thing for this video is to keep everything as simple as possible, right? Okay. So we have created our very first Cloud Run, which is cool, I would say, right? Now, what we can do is over here, like we have an option for manage traffic. We can create multiple revision, and we can split the traffic, right? Again, that those are some things which you can go and learn it. But I just want to show like some other serverless things, right? So the other one is like App Engine. Over here, like App Engine is like another serverless stick, right? A thing which we can use. We can go and create an application of our choice, and we can then we can use this one to then we can use like App Engine to run our application, right? So it's again something similar. Like you can go and choose a region. For me, it will be US Central One. You can go and choose the API which you want to use, right? If you don't attach any service account, it will use the default App Engine service account, which again has a lot of permissions, right? Which you don't really want to do. Mm. So yeah, like then if you want to start an App Engine, you have to go and make a file called app.camel file, and that's again something which you can go and learn it on your own, not the actual intent of this particular video. And the other one is like cloud function. Obviously, like there are like a lot of other things. Like over here, like we have cloud function. So cloud function responds to a particular trigger, or to a specific event, right? You can go and create cloud function, but you have to enable the API. Once you have enabled the API, you can go and create cloud function, and it will only be triggered, or the code will only run when a specific event gets triggered, right? Again, it's quite simple. You can use like first gen, second gen. I will show first gen. For function name could be something like this. Trigger could be HTTP. You can allow unauthenticated invocation, which will be public, or you can also go with authenticated. But for now, I will just click on save, next, and over here, like this is the entry point. Like the function name should be the entry point, like the function which you want to run, right? You can go and choose the language of your choice. It could be Python 3 or 12, 11, Ruby, Java, Go, whichever one you want to run, right? But however, like this is it. One more thing which I want to show is like the some like serverless like services offered by GCP. I'm not their salesperson, but these are like some services offered from GCP, like Cloud Spanner, Cloud Scheduler, Firestore, Cloud SQL, Cloud Function, Cloud Run. I don't see App Engine. I might have made mistake by adding App Engine. I don't know, but okay. Anyways, like this is it for serverless demo part. I hope you enjoyed it. Alrighty, I hope you guys liked the whole like basic introduction to GCP part. I know like I have missed a lot of concepts, but I believe like those were like some very fundamental things to know. Uh, I would suggest like if you don't know anything about GCP, I would suggest like there's a part from Google, which is Google Cloud Practitioner, I believe. You can go and check it out, or you can take some extra time and you can try to set up or work on a project like like setting up a web server, putting it behind a load balancer, setting up App Engine, Cloud Function, creating IAM roles and permission. You can go and do that on your own. But however, like the main focus of this video is to know something uh cool stuff, right? The more fun part, which is hacking side. So so we will learn about how we can exploit the exposed cloud storage bucket to either extract um, sensitive information. We will learn about SSRF to get initial foothold in GCP. However, like SSRF to get initial foothold is not so possible these days, but it's still a thing. IAM enumeration. We will learn about how we can enumerate IAM permissions in a GCP cloud environment. We will also explore like 2 different techniques to do that. We will also cover some basic privilege escalation techniques um, in GCP. So yeah, like should be fun stuff, right? Again, like we will use like Poon labs from Poon Labs. I have made like several labs over there. We will be using them. So if you haven't created an account, you can go and create it. So yeah, like let's get started. So GCP Cloud Storage Bucket. So if you don't know like what cloud storage bucket is, storage bucket is like GCP like storage bucket is something similar to AWS S3 bucket. If you don't know what S3 bucket is, I would highly recommend to go and work on your cloud fundamental uh, first, right? Fundamental knowledge first. But basically, like S3 bucket or cloud storage bucket, at a very higher level, they will allow you to store files. But you may be wondering, like, uh, where exactly I'm gonna hack stuff or put security related stuff. So sometimes, like, bucket can be misconfigured, and there are like cases where buckets have been misconfigured and sensitive information can be exposed publicly, right? In GCP, like some common misconfiguration could be like uh, cloud engineer or administrator could add all user. So this is the worst thing which can ever happen to you. So all user will basically mean anyone, anywhere. Like they don't need access to your cloud environment. If they know the name or anything, they could access the storage bucket regardless regardless of like permission or anything. The other one, the most confusing one, is like all authenticated user. And over here, like all authenticated user basically means anyone who is authenticated to GCP can access a particular storage bucket, right? uh, this does not mean that your account or the whoever like is trying to attack n- uh his Gmail account needs to be attached to the particular GCP project where you are doing pen test or attack, right? You just need a valid Google email or Gmail account and probably a GCP account to access the bucket. Alrighty, we will now get into the more fun part, which is uh the actual lab. Like to be honest, right, I don't like slides to be honest, and I believe in like whole practical thing. So yeah, like let's get into the whole demo part. Okay, so but before we get into the demo part, I have few more things to cover. Which is like real world incidents. So like there have been cases where sensitive information gets leaked, right? There was a case where a GCP storage bucket leaked some really sensitive information of 6,000 people from India, like birth certificates, personal information from children of like different kids. So yeah, like a lot could actually go wrong. There was also a case where driving licenses were leaked. So those are like some things which we need to be wary about, or those are like some things which happens in an actual world. Right? There was also a case where PI, like personally identifiable information, was leaked. Uh, and it was also like protected health information, I believe. So yeah, like these are like some things which actually happens, and it happens like quite frequently. Okay, so this is demo time, and we will explore a lab. So yeah, hopefully we will have fun. Alrighty, everyone. So this is the time to do the more cooler part, which is hacking stuff, right? So the in this one, we will do the practical demonstration of GCP storage bucket, like how we can um find exposed bucket and stuff, right? So over here, I have a lab opened up from Poon Labs. I have made this lab and it's completely free. Like this one is free. If you want to go and try it on your own before without watching this particular section, you can skip it and go and give it a try on your own, right? Or you can pause the video and you can go and give it a try on your own. If you want to just follow along, yeah, like feel free, you are free to watch this video, right? Also, like I just want to add some things. I do work for Point Labs, but I have like this is something which I'm doing out of my own like free will, like this video. They have not asked me or forced me to make this video, right? So yeah, like let's get started. Um, so we have like opened this like website which is careergiganticretail.com. We see like a static page, right? We can open up the source code or view page source, and over here we should see something like this, right? And this part is like not necessarily need to be in comments, right? You can find like other like libraries and other stuff like stored in the source code, like or the images being stored in GCP storage bucket or cloud storage bucket, right? So I can copy this part and I can go over here. Okay, so the image will load up, right? What if I remove retail1.jpg? We get this like access denied, anonymous caller does not have storage get access on the storage object permission, storage get denied, resources da da da. We get permission denied. Okay, not bad. What if I remove images? We still get something similar, right? So sometimes what would happen is like there could be a misconfiguration and the policy or the ACL, there could be some misconfiguration and which might allow either all users to access it or all authenticated users to access it, right? So one thing which we can do is like I will just copy the path or this name, which is IT storage bucket, right? Or if I can copy it properly, I'll leave it. I don't think I can copy it. I will go back to my terminal. I will clear up this mess. I can do gs util ls, then the bucket name. But for that I have to specify this, which is storage IT storage bucket. Let's see like if we can list the specific bucket or not. So seems like we still can't list the specific bucket, which is all right, nothing to be worried about, right? There are like some other thing which we can do, like if you want, like you can scroll down and read the write-up, right? Like this is the part which we tried, like gsutil ls. Okay, now what we can do is like we can do something called fuzzing, like over here as mentioned over here. We can try to fuzz the specific like Google storage bucket, right? And look out for files. We will start with like backup files, right? So I will just copy the specific word list and I will download it. So I will go to my temp directory. After that, I will simply like copy this and run it. If you don't know like what's happening, so like perf is like a directory fuzzer. Minus w stands for the word list option. So over here we have specified this specific word list, which is backup files only. And then over here like minus u is for like URL, so we have specified the URL, and fuzz is like where exactly we want to fuzz, or like where exactly we want to put the values from this file to this particular URL, right? And we are like looking for like status code which is 200, and minus C stands for like colorized option, I believe. And over here we were able to found the valid file, which is backup.7z. Okay, not bad. Now I will just copy it. It's like very simple lab, by the way. Let's see. I should. Okay, so this seems to be a valid file. because we did not get any error. So I will download it up here. Okay, seems like the file has been downloaded. Yep, file backup.7z, and this is like zip archive, right? Now, I mean, since this was a CT which I made, what the next step will be, like, you have to like crack the password, right? Um, so like for this one, like, I mean, we can probably skip this part, right? I mean, cracking password, it's something which we can skip, not directly related to it. Now, like, there are like some other tools which we can use to find GCP storage bucket. So I will just go to my another tab and I will just pick it out. Uh, sto- GCP storage brute, something. Uh, yep, GCP bucket brute. Okay, so it's GCP bucket brute. I will put it here. This is like another tool which you can use to fuzz or look out for a specific bucket. It's quite simple. I mean, there are like different methods which you can use, right? So you can like git clone it and then you can run it, right? So over here, like, you just need to specify the bucket name or just a name, something like this. Like here, like Python 3 GCP bucket brute and a specific keyword like test, and it will like automatically like append like dev test, test demo, stuff like that it will do. Or like if you want to do something like authenticated brute forcing, you can do something similar. Like if you remember, like I was talking about all authenticated user, right? So you can try that part, right? There's another very cool website which is Grey Hat Wire or Warfare. Uh, Seems like I forgot the name. Grey Hat Warfare. I'm just like looking up the website name on a different tab. I will just put it up here. Yep, I will just copy the link and let's visit. It's taking a while to load. Okay, so this is the another website which we can use to look out for buckets, right? Let's see if we are able to look out for IT storage bucket. It will take some time to load up, but it will work. Seems like it was not able to find one. Wow. Um, Filter buckets. I have to look out for buckets. So like there are like different buckets, right? Or like these are like exposed bucket. However, we won't touch them because we don't have permissions to do so, right? Let's see if we are able to filter out or look out for the specific bucket. It will take some time. Bucket filtering. Okay, so I have to probably like register, but yeah, like you get the deal, right? I mean, we can use this website to look out for buckets, and this tool is like really great. Like you can look out for specific file name. Like suppose you're going on a pen test and you want to look out for, let's say, a specific file or a backup file, or maybe an internal document or anything which is interesting, right? You can use this website to look out for, and they even have like option to look out for buckets, a lot of stuff, right? You get the deal. And about like file storage, you can go over here like boonlabs.com, reveal hidden files in Google Cloud. You can use this. uh we I think we also have like labs which require using like GCP bucket brute to brute force for like file names. I think we will do this like later on, but yeah, like this is it for exposed cloud storage bucket. I hope you liked it. Alrighty everyone, so I hope like you liked the previous lab. Now we will talk about SSRF and GCP. So if you don't know like what SSRF is, like SSRF stands for server side request forgery. It's a security vulnerability where an attacker can make a request to other internal applications using SSRF vulnerability. Um, However, like Google came up, if you go and read bug bounty write-ups from 2019, or even like recent ones for different CSP, you will see like attackers were able to get something like called SSRF, and then using SSRF they used to make a request to like metadata server, and this attack was like possible before 2020. So what attackers used to do was like use SSRF attack to make requests to metadata server of GCP, and they used to steal a token of attached service account. However, Google came up with a security update around 2020, and where they made mandatory for like every request which will make for like almost every request which will be made to metadata server needs to have a custom header called metadata flavor called Google, and which is not really possible with a typical SSRF attack, because if you remember like SSRF attack, we get a parameter where we put the URL, right? There's no way to insert a request header in a URL. However, there could be certain cases where you will come across legacy applications or application which supports other protocols like Gopher. So you can exploit those protocols to steal or token of an attached service account. So we will do something similar in our next lab. So but before that, we have something called real world incidents. So this one is not directly related to GCP itself, but at the end of the day, like GCP, AWS, or Azure, like most of them are like almost similar or somewhat similar, but with different names for different services or different roles. But at the end of the day, like the whole like concept is same, right? So there was a capital one breach, um, which is quite famous one, which happened due to an SSRF vulnerability where an attacker used an SSRF vulnerability to get or generate token for a specific service account, I believe, and then using that service account, they were able to list S3 buckets. So like this also uh, tells us that uh, that they were not following the concept of like least privileges. However, we don't know the use case for them. And then there is another like hacker one report for US Department of Defense, right? Over here, the bug bounty hunter was able to find an SSRF attack, as you can see over here, and then they made a request to metadata server of AWS to get the security token. uh the whole concept, again I'm saying this again, the whole like concept applies on GCP too, right? I mean, we shouldn't be a fanboy of a specific vendor, right? Okay, so this is time for demo and we will do another fun lab. So yeah, let's get started. Alrighty everyone, so in this part we will do the practical or the demo part of SSRF, right? So again, I have a lab open up from like Boon Labs. You can go and access it. Right over here we get the IP address, and if you want to like do this part on your own, like feel free to do it. Or I mean you can pause the video, go and give it a try. If you can't do it, you can follow along this like walkthrough, right? I will go and start over here. So this is the one. I will try to access the IP. So we get a web app, right? Over here there is shop, and after shop, I mean, we can open up these images and look for if they have any sort of misconfiguration, which could allow us to view a specific bucket or list anything interesting. So over here, if I remove image, I get access denied with shop. But what we can do is like we can make a note that there's a GCP storage bucket, right? Now we have a section called profile, and it is redirecting us there, and it's redirecting us over there. We have like name, address, phone number, and a way we can add the URL, right? So http. Now what we can do is we can do google.com and fetch the image, right? Uh, wait. We should go to the source code, and that did not work. Okay. Let's try. Rather than like http, can we try file etc password? Will that work? Yep, that indeed works. Like over here, if I open it up in a different view source, right? We can read this like internal etc password file of the specific VM. So it's an LFI, right? uh Not really. We can also do SSRF attack. So we can see a user Ayush. Is there any other user, like a user through which we can log in? I don't think so. Okay. um so now what we can do is like we can try to make a curl request to, or we can try to request the metadata server of GCP, right? So for that I just need to go and grab the URL for GCP real quick. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So this is the URL. Let me open up a notepad. So this is the a metadata server of GCP, like this HTTP metadata compute metadata, right? This is the metadata API of Google. Now what we can do is we can go back to our website and we can try to make a request. So what I will do is like this is the metadata server. I can try to fetch the image, right? But we get an error. Let's try to read it up. So we get like your client does not have a permission to get this. Missing a metadata header. Missing metadata flavor Google header. So over here we have to add the specific header in our request, right? However, it's not possible. Like how exactly we can add header in this request? Not possible, right? uh but there are like some legacy code which use something called gopher protocol, right? So over here I will just scroll down and I will just copy the payload, which is for payload for gopher. So let me just copy. Also, by the way, I completely forgot to show you this. Like some like instances, like however, like it's very rare, won't happen. But there might be some projects or some application which still use like V1 beta like API, and this one is like still vulnerable. But however, um Google has like ended the support for it, so it's like end of life. So yeah, like you won't find a V1 a metadata API on most of the like new GCP instance, right? uh Even AWS came up with an update, something even AWS came up with an update which will possibly like stop most of the SSRF attacks, right? So yeah, I have the payload over here, and let me just print it out over here. So we have like gopher protocol metadata. Again, this is the same uh metadata API, right? We have like service account, and snip like compute developer, like whoever, like whichever account, the account which is attached to this like specific compute instance, we are trying to print its token, right? However, we don't know the email address of the service account, so I will just go with this way. I think I have to specify this. um just a minute, guys. Alrighty, I have copied. I can try to fetch the request, right? It says like malformed or illegal request. Okay, we haven't done anything illegal yet. Let's see. um will this work? I have removed us. Okay, so let me try to fetch the image once again, and we get the same error. Wow. So now what we can do is like we can try to URL decode it. URL decoder. I will try to URL decode this part. Now we have this. Should have URL decoded. Wow, this website was in scam. That website was in scam, bro. Alrighty, I will decode it. We still have some encodings left. Okay, not bad. Nothing to be worried about. We can decode it again, and we can see the request over here. So it's like go for metadata like API. We have a get request over here. Let's try this way, right? I've removed everything. Now let's try encode or decode. I think we have to go this way. Not sure, like if this one does not work, you're probably like messing up with. No, like I think it worked. Wait a minute, let's see. Could not resolve this host. Okay, yeah, I think we messed up with this like decoding encoding part. I will just copy everything up here, and I will go for like cyber chef. It's another website, cyber chef. I will put the URL as input, and now we will go and encode it. URL encode. And I don't know why I'm stuttering like Joe Biden right now. Okay. If this one does not work, I don't know what we are doing wrong. We will try to fetch the image once again. And this one looks promising, I guess. Yep. I think so. But it's taking a while to load, man. Okay, so yeah, this one worked, right? So let me open up the view page source once again, and over here we can see different endpoints, right? So we have licenses, images, host name, disk, like everything, right? We have service accounts. Okay, so we are more interested in the service account part, right? I will go back to CyberChef, and let me place it up here. Now let's try to make request to CyberChef once again. Fetch image, and it's loading, taking some time. But I guess like this is the good part, right? I mean, if it's taking time to load, it must be working, right? Uh, oh man, it's taking some time. It's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Okay, so it seems like it's working, I guess. So we have like a service account attached, which is bucket viewer. Alrighty, not bad. Um, I will just copy the URL up here. Now we know the service account email, right? Uh, but we are not done, right? We have the service account email, and our end goal is to get the auth token of this like service account and then log it into G Cloud. Cool stuff, right? Like if you are like able to get the token, like auth token, you can go to your mom and say like, "Mom, I'm a hacker now." Okay, it's again, it's taking some time, which is good, I believe. Okay, so we get some other endpoints like token, identity, and scope. We just want to print out the token. Yes, I just want to print out the token mine. Token. And man, I have to stop stuttering like Sleepy Joe. Anyways, okay, so we have made a request to token over here, like the token endpoint, and we should get the OAuth token very soon, right? Uh, Again, it's loading, which is good. Something is working. Huh, this is strange. We should have received the token, bro. The heck? Well, this is strange. This is very strange. We should have received a token, but we did not. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we should have received a token. I don't know why we can't. That's crazy, bro. Okay, so it's taking some time to load. Alrighty, finally we have received a token. Now you can go and say to your mom, "Mom, I'm a hacker." Alrighty, so we have received a token now. So I can just copy the token. The token, mate. I can just copy the token. Token is all we want. So I can just copy the token now. Oh, mate. We have just copied the token, mate. Okay, so we have copied the token. Now what we can do is like we can try to access the Google Cloud like a storage bucket endpoint, right? Yeah, I mean, if you can go and follow along like this, we got like there are like multiple ways to do this part. So the first one is like we either go and make request to like Google API itself, or we can copy the token, come back to our terminal, something like this. Then there's a website called Hacktricks. Over here it's mentioned. Over there it's mentioned something like this. Let me bring up Hacktricks over here. Which is like we can use something like this, like Google Cloud or G Cloud config set or access token to this, right? And we can do like gs util ls. I don't think it will work. Yeah, I don't think it will work. Gs util. Yep. We probably have to get the bucket name, which is gigantic retail. I think it's retail, not retails. Okay, wow, this is strange. Uh, Project project equals to gr proj1. Huh, this is strange, guys. I think it was gigantic retail, right? Wait a minute. Let me go back real quick. Let me just go all the way back. I think it's gigantic retail. Wait a minute. We have shop. Okay, we have shop up here. And yeah, the images are stored in GCP bucket. It's gigantic retail. It should have worked. Oh, so strange. Hmm. Okay, so let's see. I don't know why it's not working, but technically it should have worked. We will go with the method mentioned in the write up here. What we can do is like we can save the token into the specific bucket or variable. So we can do token. I can do something like this. Copy the token. Now echo, not ego. Oh god. Google access token. Alrighty. We can just uh list the content of the specific bucket. I mean, to be honest, like, okay, so yeah, we were able to list the content of this bucket, right? And we can even download it, right? It's something nothing to be worried about. It's something which we shouldn't be worried about. Like, we can download any file present over here. Um, I mean, there's one more thing I have to say. Like, I mean, technically, like the thing which I was trying earlier, like this way, it should have worked. I genuinely don't know why it's not working right now, but it should have worked. Alrighty. So yeah, like this is it for the SSRF one. I hope you liked it. Alrighty, I hope you guys have liked the previous lab. Now we will talk about IAM enumeration. So, but before we get started, like you may be wondering, like why do we need to enumerate IAM, right? So, IAM will IAM like identity access management or IAM roles or permission will help you to identify which user has which role, and it can greatly aid you in finding misconfiguration in the cloud environment, and you can possibly exploit this misconfiguration to escalate your privileges, right? It's all about like knowing your surrounding, the more you know about the surrounding or the GCP project, or the more information you get, the better it will be for you, or you can make a proper plan or strategy how you can attack it, right? So in GCP, like there are like two different ways to enumerate permissions. One is like you might not see on every service account, right? But I have added it over here, which is like IAM service account get IAM policy. It's a role, and if your account has this particular role, you can basically list IAM policy of a service account. Or if you have this particular role over here, you can list the IAM policy of entire GCP project. However, not every service account has these these like specific roles or permission, right? uh so we will use the second way, like second method, most of the time, which is using a tool called GCP IAM Brood. So basically, like how this tool works is like another like video on its own, but Google came up with a specific endpoint called test IAM permission to check whether your user has the specific permission or not, right? And we can abuse that particular endpoint to brute force like different permissions to explore further. Again, like I know like this part might become too overwhelming, but we will have we can understand stuff properly in our lab, right? So we will move on to the lab part. Again, I'm a firm believer of the whole practical stuff. So yeah, like we will do the lab now. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? All right, everyone. So this is the demo part of like IAM enumeration, and again we will use wound labs. However, like this lab is paid. I believe this lab is paid. You can either get the subscription, or if you want to go with the free way. I don't I don't remember right now, but there's another like open source project called GCP Code. However, they don't really have a lot of stuff, right? Um, yeah, so I mean, you can either go and check them out. Again, this one will also like cost you because you have to run the infrastructure. You have to like run the entire infrastructure on your own GCP, and I don't think they have a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think they have like some basic things like IAM privilege escalation, bucket misconfiguration. Yeah, not a lot. Anyway, so we will go and use this like lab again. Like, if you can't afford a subscription, just like follow along, or maybe look out for some other projects which have IAM enumeration, right? But yeah, like we will use this lab called gain entry to GCP by GitLab commit. So basically, like when I made this lab, the entire purpose was to enumerate um IAM permissions in GCP and figure out stuff, right? So I should say when we made. Okay, so this is the project which we have, and something which we don't really need to be worried about. We can click on this. We don't see a lot of stuff, right? Uh, there's a main branch. Is there any other branch? Let's see. Okay. I mean, over here, what we can do is like we can look out, we can get clone it and look out for git log, right? But before that, let's see whether they have any other branch or not. Code. Let's see code part. They have upload.php. Updated upload.php. Let's see. Okay, so we see a token.json file. Oh, alrighty. We see a token.json file. Can we find that file? Mike. Again, like this part is like nothing so important. The main goal is to like enumerate IAM. So let me just go over here and get uh or let's see the commits. Delete readme fix. Okay, let's see this one. And we see a service account, a key file for a service account. So we can copy it up. Again, the main aim is to like enumerate IAM permissions in GCP, right? Oopsie. Nano token.json gcloud auth activate tr service account -c -file equals to token.json, and I should be able to authenticate to GCP, right? Okay, so already seems like we have authenticated to GCP. And now let's try to um, figure out the IAM policy, right? So we can try something called G cloud projects get IAM policy. I have to specify the projects, which is proj1. If you don't know the project ID, you can find it over here, like project1, right? Unable to read. Okay, so I have, okay, already. So seems like I had a token attached to my previous account. No worries. Just a sec. I will remove it. Just a minute. These are like small little things which you will uh face, right? But we don't have to worry about. So if you remember, like earlier, like when we did the whole like bucket misconfiguration lab, or the SSRF one, I ran a following command which okay, so okay, leave it. So now we should be able to get the IAM policy of this project. Yep, we are able to get the IAM policy, right? So over here we can see the service account, like internal web app team, and this is the specific role attached to it. Then we have service account SB1. This is another service account, and then there's another role attached to it, and this is a custom role. Uh, Now what we can do is like we can try to list IAM roles in the policy in the specific GCP project, and then we can view like what specific permissions are attached to this like custom role, right? So over here we see another role which has about 3 different service account attached, right? um but again, like this the whole thing like becomes a bit messy, right? So now what we can do is like we can do something like this: format equals to JSON. Hopefully this command should work. Yep. Now what we will do is like there's a tool which I made, which is just a minute. um Let me log in into my GitHub real quick. uh GitHub, just a minute, guys. um okay. I am policy visualize. It's up here. This is the project which I worked on. So basically, like it's quite simple. Like it uses Graphs library to visualize like permissions. Again, nothing that cool, right? So you can go ahead and download the specific repo, like git clone it. But like I think I already have on my system. Yeah, I think I have it. So let me just copy this JSON file real quick. Oh, but alrighty. So I will go back to GCP IAM visualize. Wait a minute. Just a sec. Okay, so it's a different name. So, yeah, like okay. IAM policy visualize. Alrighty, I will remove IAM policy visualize from my directory. I will also remove gcp.json. Um, let's try running main.py, and we'll. So now over here we have to add the JSON file, right? So what we can do is that we can create a file, something like this. Let's say iam.json up here, and now we can run the file again, but we have to specify the file name, right? So looks like the visualization has worked. Now we can open the specific image. IAM policy visualize. Alrighty. So the file has been created. So up here we can see like which service accounts are present and which specific role they have, right? So over here we can see this particular service account like cloud Redis, and it has like Redis service agent. Then there's GCP pub sub account, and there's Firestore account, Firebase rule system. Um, there's container registry, container service agent, um, compute service agent. This specific service, this specific service account has like compute service agent role. There's another service account for functions. There's artifact registry, grproj1. There's another service account with set metadata permissions. Okay, I mean technically there's like a lot of service account, right? So but over here, if we remember, this is our service account, and we have secret manager permission, we have a custom role, and we also have like cloud SQL permission. uh, then we also have like IAM role viewer permission, and then again we have like cloud SQL viewer role, right? So now what we can do is like we can start by looking for secrets present in this like specific project. So we can do something like gcloud secrets list. uh just a minute. Yeah, I think there's a mistake. Let me specify this project equals to grproj1. Yep, so we can see two different uh we can see like two different like secrets being stored in like secret manager of GCP, right? um so now we know like there's some secrets present over here. Now our goal is to like list them, right? So we can do again gcloud secrets. um Now we have to do like something like this versions. Let's try this versions. Let's try to list the latest one. uh or let me try to list the versions, right? List, then I have to specify the name, which is customer app backend, and I probably have to specify the project ID, which is grproj1. So we can see there's only one specific version of this like secret, so we can try to access it. Access. um Now I think we have to specify another flag secret. I hope like I spelled that correctly, right? Secret, then it's customer app backend. Okay, so we see a database credential over here. Not bad, not bad. So yeah, like this is how like we can enumerate, right? So like this is it uh for like IAM permission enumeration with the first method, right? Now we will go a bit deeper, and we will explore the other method to enumerate IAM permission, which is brute forcing, right? Okay, so up here I will close this lab. Again, like if you want to go and complete this lab, like complete this entire lab, you can go and do it, but the main aim is to like show you IAM enumeration. But yeah, like you can go and complete the lab, get the flag, but I will just show you like how we can enumerate IAM permissions. Now up here, let me search for GCP lab. So now we will try this lab, which is, and again, it's a premium lab. If you don't want to do it, it's completely fine. But we will do this specific lab, which is illuminate GCP by fuzzing IAM permission, right? Now up here, um, we get this specific like service account key, right? So we can copy it. Now I will go back, clear this, and I can authenticate the cd temp nano token .json. Now I will log in. Now what I can do is like gcloud auth activate service account, activate service account dash key dash file equals to which is I should have probably named my file correctly, but anyways, we will like we will now use this like specific service account to log in. Okay, so we were able to indeed log in into this service account called DevOps RE, right? Now our goal is to like enumerate our permissions. So what we will do is like we will try the same older method, which is we have to try something like this, like gcloud projects get IAM policy dash project equals to gia proj1. uh okay, so I have to specify it this way. Oops. Gia proj, if I can type it properly. We won't be able to because our service account does not have like get IAM permission, and you will often like very often come across this like specific scenario, right? You won't see your service account or user to have permission which allows them to view IAM policy. If you do see it, it's bad, you know. um we should like always follow the principle of like least privileges, right? However, but we got like some tricks, right? Which is uh, so over here what we will do is we will print the OAuth token. So gcloud OAuth, gcloud auth print access token real quick, project gia proj 1. So over here like so despite this part might get confusing, but I have like printed out the OAuth token, and but before that I just want to show you something. So like GCP being GCP, right? Google being Google, they can they have like some weird stuff, man. Just a sec. Uh, I will like probably make a separate video like on this whole thing, right? Test time permission because it's funny. So like GCP has something called like test IAM permission, right? It allows you to like test like specific permission whether you have a specific permission or not, right? Uh, so you can use this like specific test IAM permission thingy, like or I should say the endpoint to basically like brute force the permissions, right? So I know like I know it's a bit confusing, but it's somewhat similar to like FUF, right? But over here like we have a directory or a whole set of like permissions related to GCP, right? And we will basically like fuzzing against this like specific API. And the funny part is that this like specific thing was made to test whether you have a permission or not. Like over here they say like it was intended for like third party graphical user interfaces like GUI that needs to display Google Cloud resources based on what authenticated user has permission to see, right? But man, like GCP being GCP, so I made a whole different tool, which if I scroll down below we will see a different tool, which is GCP IAM Brute. We can go and check the source code, right? So over here, like we have this like specific endpoint or the API, and we have like test and permission. And basically, like what we are doing is like we have like role static tree, and it has like a lot of JSON files with different roles and permissions, right? And we are like it's technically like we are fuzzing our way in, right? And the best part is that I mean, again, this the part which I'm about to say, like I probably have to go and dig more deeper, and this is something which I'm researching upon. But how much I know, like the whole like brute force, the whole like IAM brute forcing is not being logged into GCP, right? Which is crazy, like in my opinion. Like GCP is like not logging this like brute force attack, right? So you can go and git clone it. Now I will go back. Oh wow. Clear. Now I will go to my home directory where I have installed GCP IAM brute. uh, So over here I have like GCP IAM root. Let me run it python 3 main.py. So this like specific tool takes like three different flags, which is access token, project ID, and service account email. So if I do gcloud auth list, this is the service account which I have logged into. Now I will close it. Now I will run gcloud. Oh, just a sec. On gcloud auth print access token. Then I will specify the project, which is giaproj 1. Alrighty. Now up here I can specify the flag called access token. Access token. Oopsie. I was supposed to put the access token, no worries. I will just add the service account flag real quick. Alrighty everyone, so now I just have to copy this like specific token, and this is project ID, I believe, and now gia proj 1. Okay, so it will like basically like start fuzzing, and we should it will probably take a minute or two. I mean, again, it depends, but it shouldn't take any longer than like 2-3 minutes. If it takes like any longer than like 2-3 minutes, it will be surprising. But yeah, like shouldn't take a lot of time. So let's see what permissions we got. Uh, but yeah, like if you wanna do like more research work, I would like recommend like go and do some research with whether on like how we can track this like whole IAM brute forcing. Again, this is something which I'm working on, like researching on like whether the whole like brute forcing part gets logged or not, and how much I have done my research work. I don't see anything in logs. Now on now like my next work will be to figure out like whether or how we can log this like whole brute forcing, right? And if you're like someone who's like experienced GCP pen tester or a blue teamer who does like a lot of GCP stuff, let me know like how exactly we can track this like brute forcing part. But anyways, so this is it for our GCP brute forcing section, right? We do see a lot of permissions, and the traditional way of like using G Cloud project get IAM policy won't work because you need to have that specific permission to list IAM policy. But you can use or abuse like test IAM endpoint to enumerate what permissions your service account has, right? And over here we can see like it has something called artifact registry viewer permission. right? We can download artifact registry, we can list them. Again, like if you want to go and complete the CTF, you can go and do it. But this is it mm, for the whole like IAM enumeration part. I hope you liked it and enjoyed it. Thanks, and we will see you in the next section. Alrighty, so this is now time to talk about privilege escalation, the coolest topic, right? So privilege escalation. So escalating privileges are all about abusing your current permission to escalate your privileges further, and there may be many ways to escalate privileges in GCP. However, in this video or in this particular video, we will learn about two different ways how we can escalate our privileges of permission in GCP. The first one will be account impersonation, and the second one will be a crazy good privilege escalation technique, which is implicit delegation. But again, like there are like many ways you can escalate privileges in GCP. uh I'll probably make a separate video on some other privilege escalation technique, but these are like some of the easiest one, or some of the uh, I would say like some uh, vectors which you would like to learn, especially this one. Like it's a crazy privilege escalation vector. I mean, it's not crazy, but the way how it works, or the way how we will escalate privileges, is a crazy one. So yeah, like we will now move on to the lab part. Alright, so we will do some lab now. I hope like you guys will like the lab. So yeah, let's see. Alright, gamers, so this is this is like the practical or the demo section of privilege escalation. We will use again, like we will use a lab from Poon Labs. Again, this is the paid one. If you want to go with the free alternative, I believe GCP Cloud Code has some privilege escalation labs. You can go and explore them. However, we will anyway, but we will use this like lab from Poon Labs. Um, so yeah, like let's get started, shall we? Over here, like again, the main goal is to like uh perform the privilege escalation through like service account impersonation. So we will go and perform that real quick. Up here, like there's a website like this. Now, again, this is something which you can brute force, but I have already done this. Like I made this. I know, like there's a git directory up here, right? We can basically like download this like git directory if you want to. So like you can scroll down, see the right there, like there are like different tools like which we can use to download it, right? So we can either use like something called git dumper, or what we can do is we can let me just clear my screen real quick, or we can use something called wget to download it. So mkdir ctf, oh god, ctf. Now I will download it. I think recursively it should download everything up here. Again, the main goal is privilege escalation. We are just going through this way to get the authentication key. In the meanwhile, like what we can also do is we can click on head, uh, config. Let's see. Okay, so we see a git, GitHub repo, or a git repo, a repo on GitHub, I should say. So we can even check it from here, man. I mean, we don't really have to do a lot of stuff. Uh, let's click on load diff. Show me the difference, man. Show me the difference. Okay, so this seems to be a big HTML file. Alrighty. Alrighty, alrighty. Okay, not bad. There's these are the files which were uploaded. A lot of images, man. A lot of images. Damn, bro. There's a script.js file. We don't see. Wow. Wait. Maybe we have to see this up here. cd.git. Okay, so I have to cd up here. lsla cd dot git dot git. If I can type it now, I can do something like git log, right? There's initial commit. Okay, so we can try and see like how many branches are, right? I mean, that's also a problem, right? Let's see whether they have any development branch. Of course they have. Okay, so we see like login.php, upload.php. Not too bad. We can do the same thing from the command line, but we won't because we are lazy. Because we are lazy gamers. Alrighty, so we have copied this like token. Now I will go back to temp directory, nano token dot json. I probably have to remove token dot json, nano token dot json. Up here we can now authenticate again like this: gcloud auth activate service account dash key file equals to token dot json. And now we should be authenticated to gcloud gamers. Gcloud, man, like whenever like GTA 6 comes out, I will be the happiest person. Anyways, we can try to list the IAM policy attached to this specific project. A project get IAM, oh god, IAM policy. If I can type it, I think it should be projects. Let's go, baby. Alright, so again, there's a lot of IAM policy up here, right? And our current account is this. So let's see like what other, I mean, again, I know which account has which permission, but like we have to go and do the whole like normal enumeration part again, right? But like I made this lab, so there's another service account up here which we can impersonate again. And if you're wondering like how exactly we will find out that part, it's like all enumeration, bro. Like you have to go and enumerate, and you have to like also check like what permissions are, like let's say like what permissions are attached to like this specific role or custom role, right? You have to go and figure out that part on your own. But there's this specific service account such as this. Wait a minute. Wait, is this a service account? Okay, so this is the service account I have to look out the policy for. Yep. So we can check out the IAM policy of this like specific service account, and we will find out that our current account, like internal web dev, like is able to create the token for this service account, right? So basically like what's happening up here is like let just a sec. Let me pull up a whiteboard. Just a minute, guys. whiteboard. Just a minute. Okay. It's taking some time, man. Already, I don't know like what sketchy looking website this is. Okay, so like what's happening up here is like we have a service account. Let's say like it's in this is the internal service account. But for our case, let's say it's A, right? And then there's IAM policy, right? Which we enumerated. This is IAM policy. Yeah, just bear with me like with my bad drawing, right? So we have like a account called the internal or the initial account which we got, right? Which is internal web dev, I believe. Let me see. Oh yeah, like internal web dev, right? It is internal. If I can write it, internal. Yeah, I can't write it. Shit. Oh boy. Let's say like this service account is like internal web dev account, and we were able to view the IAM policy of this whole project. And over here we find another service account which is B, and this B like is our like in our case this B is like intermediate service account, the one which we found right now, like this one. And over here we see that our user like which is A can generate tokens for this like service account B, right? So what we can do is we can impersonate the service account B and try to like perform actions on the behalf of like this specific service account. I know this part might sound a bit crazy or like you might not even understand. So like if you have the subscription or like you can possibly like go and learn from other places too, but you can probably come here and read up this whole part, right? But it's something like this, right? I'll just copy this command up here, Control C. So over here, like I have like gcloud config set auth service account, and this command will basically like impersonate this like specific service account since we have this like specific permission. So let me just run it. Alrighty, so now we should be able to perform actions on the behalf of like this specific service account, right? Now our goal is to like look out like what permission we have, right? So if we remember, like this was our initial service account, right? And this was our initial service account, and we were like pretty much like low key uh, service account with low permissions, right? Now what we can do is like we can either simply like enumerate the permissions attached to like this specific service account through like checking the IAM roles of this like specific service account attached up here, or what we will do is let's see, yeah, let's try to go with the way first, the simple way, which is to look out for which like custom role is attached. And up here we can see cloud SQL viewer role is attached. What we can do is like we can run the command again, and we can try to grep try enter. Already, let's try this way. Oops, it should be projects mate grep I enter. So up here we can see like the whole like interaction with the Google API is happening as this like specific user, like which is intermediate, and earlier like it was happening with the other account which was service account A for us, like from a previous example. I genuinely have no idea like whether you guys were able to understand this part, but it's quite simple. We started out as service account A, which was pretty much low key or low value service account, but with little to no permission, right? And what we did was we moved on to like service account B, which had like a lot of permission. So I will give a crown jewel over here. So this account had like a lot of service account, a lot of permissions, and the way how we moved in was like we abused something called the specific permission, which is token generation one, like IAM service account token creator. So we abused this, so we were able to abuse this like specific permission. Oh god, can I even move with this? Yeah, so like we basically like abuse this like specific service account to move on to service account B. And I have messed up with the whole chat, but I think you get the deal, right? Again, like if you want to complete the entire lab, you're like free to go and complete it on your own. But we will move on to the next and the last lab of of our like this video, which is implicit delegation, mate. So again, like this whole like implicit delegation is like a crazy good fun topic to learn, right? uh or like what I can do is like I can explain this attack, and this could be your research work which you can go and explore it on your own, right? I don't know like what to do in this case. um I mean, I do know what to do, but maybe like you guys can go and complete the lab on your own, but I can teach you the technique, right? What's happening up here. So this is the diagram which has been provided. So basically like we start with a service account A up here, like in the case of like implicit delegation. And I'm sorry, like our last lab is not practical, it's like me talking, but this is something which you can go and try to complete it on your own, like whenever and this whole like trying to like complete it on your own will help you a lot, because like will be able to practice the whole IAM enumeration part on your own. you will you will also probably use your brain, like how to figure out like how exactly I can do, right? So basically like what happens over here is like we start as service account A, which is again low value service account, right? But there's an implicit delegation between service account A and service account B. And if you don't know like what implicit delegation is, like you can go and Google like implicit delegation GCP, right? So our service account A has implicit delegation on service account B up here. Now this is the whole attack chain, right? So, and it's kind of fun one. So over here there's service account B, and service account B has this like specific permission, the one which we used on our previous lab, right? The impersonation lab has on has like token generation, like get access token on service account C, right? So what happens over here is like in this like privilege escalation is that we start as a low value like service account A, and we are able to jump to like, or we are able to escalate our permissions to like service account C by abusing the implicit delegation, right, over here. So again, I will probably go back to the whiteboard, and over here like I'll probably reveal some spoilers, but I will highly recommend you guys to go and try to complete this lab on your own, right? But yeah, like if you want, you can stop the video now and you can go and try to complete the lab on your own, right? But I will just give a small quick summary like what's happening over here. Just a sec, guys. Just a minute. Let me get the whiteboard once again. A minute. Just a minute. I know it's taking some time, but it's loading. Alrighty. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Man. The Alrighty, so we got our whiteboard up here. Again, I'm gonna just draw a diagram like what's happening up here. Like so over here we start as service account A, right? So I will type it here, which is A. Let me say like service, or this is service account A, like your service account A up here. Let me delete this part, delete it. Let me get a shape, right? So up here we have service account A, right? We don't have a lot of permissions, right? So over here we don't have a lot of permission. Low prev user, right? Low prev user or low prev service account up here. Now we have another service account. Let me just get the shape real quick. Up here we have another service account, and it's service account B, right? And then there's another service account which is C. Again, like this is something you don't really need to have a token generation, get access token on service account C. Like the attack chain can, I think like attack chain can also work this way. Like for example, this like service account, the service account has like implicit delegation. Basically like it can perform any, service account A has permissions to perform any action on service account B, right? And over here our service account B has a token, or get access token permission, right? So what I'm gonna do is like get access token over here. Now the interesting part is like, since there's an implicit delegation between service account A and service account B, uh, service account A should be able to execute, or should be able to escalate the privileges to like service account C, right? However, like the attack chain can also be different. For example, if there's only an implicit delegation on service account A, right? What we can do is like we can abuse this implicit delegation, and we can escalate our privileges to like service account B, right? And we can move on from there. But if we have a service account B and which has a get access token, then it's much better because we can use this permission, or okay, so I'm framing this thing wrong over here, sorry. So if our like service account B has get access token on service account C, we can escalate up privileges to like this specific service account, right? I know like this part is very very confusing, but take it this way. Like if there's implicit delegation, like over here there's an implicit delegation to service account. If there's an implicit delegation between two different accounts, I know it will be wrong. Let's say it's A can execute any command as B over here. You can also generate the access token of service account B, right? Access token of service account B. And oh shit, like you can generate the access token of service account B and escalate or move from here, right? Now like what could be like your own like work is to go and complete this lab on your own. If you get stuck, you can follow along this whole writer. You can also probably check out the video uh from Tyler Ramsey, like he did a live stream on it. But again, I will highly recommend to do this lab on your own without anyone's help, right? Try to figure out everything on your own. Again, I have already like told you, like, or I have already given you so much of spoiler, right? But I will highly recommend you guys to go and complete this lab on your own. Like, you will learn a lot. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and this is the end of this video, right? uh I know, like, I probably have made some mistakes, right? Again, not an expert, and I'm definitely not a teacher, right? I'm very young. So if you see anything which I can improve upon, feel free to comment, or you can DM me on Twitter, which on my ID, which is hack10101. um Again, thanks for tuning in and have a great day.